Welcome back to another episode of the Marketing Quacks podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Dozer. And if you're new to the show, the mission here is to expose all the quacks and gimmicks in the marketing industry while featuring some experienced marketers along the way. So, in this episode, I'm excited to welcome our guest, Bennett Heyn. Bennett is the founder and CEO of Backlinker AI and has been featured in other notable marketing podcasts as well. Bennett, thanks so much for joining the show. And sorry if I just butchered your last name there.
No, you're perfect. Yeah, thanks for having me. I
Yeah, for sure.
recently, went on a Creator Files podcast, which you can check out. But he reached out to me after that because there's a lot of interesting stuff to go over.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that here. So, for those listening, I actually heard Bennett's episode on the Creator Files podcast, which I was a part of that as well on episode 10, if you want to check that out. And Bennett really talked about how he uses AI to obtain high quality backlinks, and I was very intrigued, so I reached out to him. So, Bennett, let's start there. I mean, talk about who you are, your previous experience in marketing, SEO, and kind of what you do right now.
Sure. So yeah, my name is Bennett Heyn. I am a current business analyst at Adobe, and I'm the CEO and founder of Backlinker. However, I started my SEO journey a while ago. Usually, like I think when I was fresh into college, I started a website which was like a blog about the best outdoor sectionals, the best car gadgets to put on your car, random topics that I was just interested in, and they weren't really ranking on Google until I started to get authoritative backlinks. So what I was doing is I was going on Haro, which stands for Help a Reporter Out, and there was experts asking me for things like, "Hey, I need a college student to give me some advice on X, Y, and Z," or "I need someone who's bought a piece of clothing at this shop." And so I just replied and said like, "Okay, here's my expertise, here's my story." And then I would get featured in places like Business Insider, Wall Street Journal, and all for $0. So that inspired me to kind of help others do that. But with the new rise of AI, it's actually easier than ever before to like create these quotes. So now I can reach out to reporters on behalf of clients and send them expert authoritative quotes that are actually written by AI.
Yeah, so you mentioned Haro. Are you dabbling in like Quoted, or what are some of the other tools you're using right now?
Yeah, so we tried Haro. They actually recently on January 1st switched to something called Connectively. And so
Okay.
it's like a paid thing that you have to pay for every month. So I'm guessing that Haro won't have as many users, but it might be easier to get backlinks now that they're trying to eliminate the spam. We also tried using Featured, which is working really well. It's a paid service as well. And then we have tried Quoted in the past, but I think they're very strict on AI content. So
I was going to ask you about that because we actually met with one of the Quoted. I don't know if he was a CEO or someone high up, and he's like, no AI, no AI. Like he was like hard set against AI. So I was curious of how you were kind of navigating those waters.
I mean, Quoted has a some sort of really good detection program because like we were doing the AI thing for about a month on Quoted, and then we got taken down off Quoted.
Wow. Wow. So they got you pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, and I don't know, like it seems like we were using unique prompts to generate unique quotes, but the AI it wasn't good enough to fool everyone.
Yeah, and PR is such an old school industry too. So I mean, you know all the people in PR that have been in it for 20 years. When you say AI, like they feel really threatened. So I'm sure that's part of
Yeah,
it too.
yeah, they're probably like reporting everything that they see.
Yeah, for sure. So talk about without giving up your secret sauce. Talk about Backlinker a little bit and how you're kind of using AI behind the scenes to create these pitches.
Sure. So first, it just started as like a Zapier automation that I ran, which would get the emails in. It would review them against my clients and say, are any of my clients a good fit for this source? If so, create a pitch for this using like this prompt criteria. It would create the pitch and then it would send it out like using the, I think, SendGrid API. But like they stopped doing their email service. So now we had to completely pivot our technology. And we've found some ways to use like automation, AI, web scraping to kind of do the same thing of like we see that there's a quote that needs to be answered. We have our client database. We check it against it to see who would be the best fit. We create the quote for them using our unique set of prompts. And then we reply on behalf of the customer or the client that we have.
Got it. Okay, that's really cool. So talk about, I guess, what would you say your biggest win, or if you had a couple wins that you've gotten with Backlinker AI so far, what would that be?
Yeah. Well, we have gotten some pretty good links, which is kind of crazy. Like one woman was a CEO of a bookstore, but she actually got quoted on ZNet for like a a technology
Is that like
expert.
an 80 mid 80s DR?
Yeah, or I think that's a 90s. Like
Oh,
we've
is it
got a
really?
couple like DR 90s, yeah, ZNet, Realtor.com, Homes and Gardens. But one thing that I was also proud of was one month, one of our clients actually got like about 12 links. I mean, and probably like on average DR 50. But since our costs, like we're charging them, were so low, they probably got a really good deal.
Yeah, and what I learned too, so I've actually been featured on Go Banking Rates, and a lot of sites you
Yeah,
probably know about Go Banking Rates is they'll have these pickups. It's like Yahoo Finance, MSN, so you can have one placement on Go Banking Rates, but that can turn into five different, 80 to 90 DR backlinks. So I'm like, wow, this is how digital PR works, and I was like all in at that point.
yeah, definitely. I mean,
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about digital PR in 2024. I guess why, in your opinion, is this an effective strategy for obtaining these authoritative, high quality backlinks?
yeah, I guess as a single like business owner, you want to get these backlinks, but you just don't have the time to put in like an hour a day or even 2 hours a day sometimes. So when you offload it to something else like AI, it'll just run for you, and so you can spend your time doing other things. And I think that's kind of the point of AI. Is it's not meant to replace humans, but it's meant to assist them and make their workflow a lot faster. So for me, I'm able to just take on more clients and pitch more often because I'm using AI. And then for the clients, I think that the main value proposition is not like you get quoted more or whatever. I think it's just that it's cheaper. Like when you look at something like the Hoth or Fat Joe, like they offer reporter outreach packages, but they start at like $2,000 versus my packages start at like $200 or 250.
Yeah, the average person has no idea how this works. So when a company like the Hoth is like promoting that, they think like, "Oh wow, there must be so many sophistications behind the scenes to justify that high price point, right?"
Yeah. And I've heard even some people pay their writers like $7 per pitch, which kind of just seems absurd.
Jeez.
Versus like we pay ChatGPT 5 cents or 2 cents per pitch.
So one of the services that we offer at the agency I'm partnered with at Empathy First Media is actually that digital PR, like I was just telling you before the episode.
Yeah.
And as SEO continues to evolve and the algorithm continues to update, I'm a big believer that digital PR is the bulletproof strategy for SEO in 2024.
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
I could agree. I think I've heard that authority sites are actually going to get like more SEO benefits than non-authority sites. That's always been the case, but for example, like we've seen that a big media conglomerate like CNET or ZDNet or Forbes, they're able to rank for a lot of these smaller keywords that like something like my blog just could not ever rank for.
Yeah, I've
So,
also noticed Quora
yeah,
and Reddit get a huge uptick in the SERPs as well. So they're favoring that user generated content in all these forums I've noticed.
true. And like Reddit and Quora, they have so many people linking back to them, and I think that's definitely boosting their authority.
Yeah, so let's talk about AI again, just in a different perspective here. What are some other AI tools that you're using? You mentioned you have blogs. I don't know if you still do. You're writing content. Are you using any AI writing tools? Is it just Chat GPT plus? Explain some of these other AI tools that you're using.
Yeah. So one of them, like for SEO or for non SEO?
Yeah, whatever. Just something outside of the backlink outreach
Yeah. Well, I use actually like the ChatGPT data analysis tool a lot. Like with ChatGPT 4, you can now generate images that are really good.
with
And you
Dolly
can,
3. Yeah.
yeah, DALL-E 3 AI. And you can use their like data analysis stuff. So for a lot of my side projects, like, oh, I want to make an SEO scraper that can pull the title tags off of these websites, you just ask ChatGPT to do that, and it will like create the Python script that I need to like get started. So I've been using ChatGPT for coding a lot. Also, sometimes you can put in something like go on Ahrefs, download your competitor's backlink profile or their keywords, put it in the ChatGPT as a file, and say, analyze this and give me the 10 strategies I can use to leverage my competitors' um, information. And then it will give you some pretty good ideas of like, okay, like these people did X, Y, and Z, and they had an uptick in backlinks in December by getting backlinks from these sites. And then from there, you can really get insights that would take you a lot longer normally to like.
Yeah, it's getting good for sure. I mean, have you dabbled in the custom GPT world at all? I know the GPT store is launching this week at some point.
Yeah, I have. One of them was like for my clubs at Ohio State, or like for Ohio State, I was in clubs. And me and my friend made a custom GPT where you could put in like what you're interested in, and then it would output what clubs you should join at Ohio State. Like super simple. I think custom GPTs could be cool for if my clients gave me like a download of their whole blog or all their blog articles, then I could put that into a custom chat GPT and say, like now generate the quotes from this training set.
Yeah, absolutely. There's unlimited use cases. I know for me personally, I have an image custom GPT, so like a mid-journey prompt generator. I have
Yeah,
a YouTube optimizer, so for tags, descriptions, titles, all the things that go into a YouTube video.
true.
So I've been dabbling a lot of these custom GPTs as well. So on the same topic of AI, I want to get your perspective on how big of an impact you think AI has already had in the SEO space and kind of where you see it going in 2024.
Yeah. I'd say AI really has messed with Google and it's like completely shifting things. I also think that since there's more AI like blogs and articles, people are probably losing faith in some of this. Like I hate to say it, but I think at Adobe part of my job is to like understand how people are searching, and we actually see that there's a shift, like a decline in searches on Google, and there's been just a steady uptick on like searches in TikTok and YouTube and Reddit. So I think part of that is people are starting to realize that when they're searching for something, getting an AI response like from ChatGPT in a blog is not very helpful. So like they're just going to go straight to some sort of social media. So I think yeah, I guess the first point is that AI might be undermining Google, and Google kind of knows that, and they've been trying to push out these different penalties and updates, and like even their thing of when you search something on Google, they're providing their own AI answer.
Google SGE, search generative
Yeah,
experience, is that what you're referring to?
yeah. So like that's also changing the game. Um, and then I guess people are using AI to get ahead. Like there's this one guy I saw on LinkedIn. He's been using AI to create like mass articles and um, like it automatically has everything you need, and like they rank super well. I've also
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know
case
if I trust half of the people that talk about AI, to be honest with you. It's more, I feel like people that talk about AI, most people that talk about AI don't actually use AI, if that makes sense.
yeah, that could be true. Yeah, and I don't know all the use cases of SEO, but I think image generation is a huge use case of AI that I've been really getting into.
Yeah, Dolly 3 is great. Mid Journey. If you dabble in like Adobe Firefly, I know Meta just came out with their own AI image generator, Leonardo. I've been all over the place into this stuff, man.
Yeah, definitely. And AI video is coming up. Like, um,
2024, that's the year of AI video, text to video generation.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
There's
I've dabbled in like in video. Runway ML is a big one, and then Pika. Pika's kind of the next up and comer. Pika 1.0. Have you heard of that one?
yeah, the one where it can like change out parts of the video with yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty.
so stay tuned for that. So I guess this is my favorite segment of the show where we get into the quacks, kind of why this is called the Marketing Quacks podcast. So in your perspective, Bennett, what are some tricks and gimmicks that you have seen people do to get results? Now, this could be anything from shady, black hat backlink tactics, black hat SEO. I guess, what is a gimmick or a trick that you've seen before?
Hmm. One thing that I did when I was starting out is like you instantly like go to Google Search Console and click request indexing. And then like sometimes like in the next day you'll see that your stuff is on Google. That's the first thing that like comes to my mind. Also, one thing that's kind of black hat is that um, like when I was having my website Parker Marker, I would create a bunch of new articles, like 50 articles, and they wouldn't show up on Google, and like you're not going to get any SEO value from that. So one thing you can actually do is you can go to a site and buy these like indexable links for like a penny per link, and you just like push them towards your pages that you just created, and then instantly with a day they get indexed. So, and once something's indexed, then it can rank on Google. But if it's not discovered or not indexed, then there's no value to it.
I just
Um,
had on Shane Dutka. I used to work with Shane at the old company I used to work at Three Ships. You should look into him. He's a really good SEO. And he talked about a gimmick where I forget what the actual term was, but it was this AI tool that, or these tools that people would get, and it would like draw clicks on the SERP. So it would like automatically click someone's SERP and would like automate and trick Google's algorithm to like different clicks are coming from different directions. I don't know. It's pretty sophisticated, but make sure you take a look at that. I'd be curious to hear what you think.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great.
One for me, and this is again, this depends on the niche, but my biggest black hat gimmick that I've seen personally is fake DMCA removal requests. Are you familiar with the DMCA?
No.
So DMCA is kind of Google's law where they can take down websites if like someone submits copyright or submits whatever to Google, and then they can take down certain like pieces of the search results as they choose. So one thing I ran into in the tech space on one of my affiliate sites is that I had this competitor and I knew they were out of India. They were just using AI and hiring these cheap writers to copy sites, right? In that popular VPN niche. And
Yeah.
what they would do is they would send fake DMCA takedown requests. So they would draft up what looked like a real DMCA request and they would
Oh,
send it to all the people ranking on page one to see who would bite, right? Who would take down their pages based on this fake DMCA removal.
wow. Yeah, that's pretty black hat.
Oh my god, I was like, wow, I have to give it to him though. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Also, I have a really good hack for TikTok if you want
Let's
to
hear it. Let's
know
hear it.
that.
Yeah.
Let me pull up and show you. So I've been getting really into TikTok and like trying to optimize towards video views. But as you can see here, I got
Wow.
14 million views in the past like 3 or 4 days.
Is that off one video going viral?
No, that's off like a series of like 60 videos. So you want to know how I did it?
Yeah, let's hear
Um,
it.
so basically, what you have to do is you can find like you can go in Google Trends and look up like, okay, what are the newest true crime shows, and then you take that show and you just cut it into a bunch of clips and add your own like reaction and um, like title, and then post like a big like series of them, and then automatically they go viral. Like I did that for the Golden Bachelor and probably got around like 10 million, 20 million total views. And so I've been
So
doing it.
what's your process then? Is like episode one of the Golden Bachelor, here's my reaction. Episode two, here's my reaction. Like, what's your process to that?
Yeah, so I would watch it and then like, clip it as I'm watching it and then post it with the caption. I was doing this in hopes of when you get to 10,000 followers on TikTok, you can apply for the TikTok Creativity Beta program. And I've seen a lot of people like get in and then make a lot of money from that. So I was trying to do that, and then I got to 10,000 followers. I applied, but they said my content's not original enough. So I'm like just being transparent. I'm not the best person at figuring out like I thought it would be original enough just adding that caption, but I think maybe my next thing could be like including a video of my face and putting it over it like in half the screen. Um,
Yeah.
Something, but I think it's still like a pretty good strategy. Like as you saw, I was able to get 14 million views in the last 7 days.
That's crazy, man. People love that reaction content. I see that a lot with like hip hop. I'm into hip hop music. People will
Yeah,
post the reactions to these hip hop songs or movies or TV shows. Like that's a big thing.
yeah. So like,
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. So talk about the monetization then. Like how does the monetization work on TikTok? Like is it something that you should work towards? Is it lucrative? Is it like YouTube ad revenue? Can you monetize in other ways through affiliates? Like talk about what your plan
yeah.
is.
So there's actually a couple different ways. TikTok is really pushing monetization this year. So the first, that's actually better than YouTube's. I think YouTube pays. I saw
It's like
some
40 to
yeah,
45%, I
40
think.
whatever on per million views. Would you say?
I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah, I've heard some very low number of like you're not going to get paid for your time, but on TikTok you get $1,000 for every million views. So if I was monetized and I got that 14 million views, I would get $14,000. However, it's like not that easy. I guess you have to make original content
I was going to
or have to
say,
have to
yeah.
bypass that. That's probably the first part. The second one's TikTok Shop. So I think TikTok Shop as a seller, like you saw how big FBA got and drop shipping. TikTok Shop, there's a big opportunity to get in on like TikTok FBA instead of Amazon FBA and to become a TikTok drop shipper. And then the other part is if you get 5,000 followers, you can like use your affiliate links in TikTok to promote TikTok Shop products. So like I have this vegetable chopper and I was using it in my videos and then I have an instant link so someone could buy it from my page and I would make around 50% commission, which is way higher than Amazon's 4%.
Yeah, yeah. Amazon Associates is like 3 to 5%.
Yeah, so that's the like also very lucrative. Like I had one video that got 8,000 views and I made $100. from that video. So I think that might be more, it's kind of like an SEO. Like you either go for the high intent keywords of like best X, Y, and Z, and then you have the affiliate links, or you do the informational keywords like what is X, Y, and Z, and you make money from Google AdSense. Kind of this.
Yeah, I'm not too big on the informational approach. So, I mean, I think it is good from an SEO perspective to have a mix of informational and transactional content on your website
Yeah.
versus just all trans. I think if you're all transactional, you'll get penalized, in my opinion.
Mhm.
But there's just not a lot of money to make if you're just a purely informational blog or informational creator. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I've tried that route and like the whole ad revenue route just isn't for me. I'm big on affiliates.
Yeah. So same thing on TikTok. Like if you want to make these informational series, you can get paid per view. Or if you want to just push products, you can make money from affiliate links. And then they also have like different monetization things like going live on TikTok. People will send you gifts to
Hmm.
like do certain actions. I don't know if you've heard of the TikTok NPC trend.
No, I'm not big on TikTok.
It's kind of crazy. People make a lot of money. Like there was this one trend where you act like an NPC and someone donates you a gift, like a virtual flower, and then you say thank you for the flower, and then like you keep talking, and then someone sends you like a piece of corn virtual, and you eat the corn, and so they do that, and every time you get this virtual piece of corn or virtual flower, you get like 50 cents.
Jeez.
So yeah,
So, are you
I
bullish on TikTok for 2024 and beyond?
I think so. Like I've
Okay.
seen the spikes, and I've seen like you there's a TikTok creative center, and you can actually like look at hashtag data, and you can see that like some things are just going up and to the right. Like yeah, like
Interesting.
it's pretty
Well,
interesting.
yeah, we'll end it on that. Bennett, it's been fun, man. I appreciate all the insights. Any final notes, whether on TikTok, backlinks, digital PR, anything that we talked about in this podcast?
Not really. I guess just follow me on LinkedIn for some weekly content. You can check out my website bennettheyn.com to see what I've been working on. And yeah, I might not stay like with these projects forever, but I think it will be interesting to move on to just what I'm passionate about.
Yeah, that was going to be my final point is where can people find you online?
Yeah, I guess so. Website or LinkedIn is great.
Perfect. What's your TikTok in case someone wants to follow you on TikTok?
My TikTok is at underscore dude my guy underscore.
Okay.
Uh,
Just in case I want to see these like views and stuff like that that you talked
yeah,
about.
if you want to watch this series of Gypsy Rose,
Oh, yeah, yeah, I did see
like
that.
that's what I've been posting about recently that got so many
Yeah.
views.
Well, cool. Well, that's it for this episode of the Marketing Quacks podcast. Again, Bennett, thank you so much for joining the show. I really appreciate your time and insights.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.